buenos días a todos. En primer lugar, gracias a Bebiom para...
Thank you so much for inviting me to come here to EXPOBIOMASA and to all the people who came here today. Today I'm going to talk about a success case that it was real. It is a boiler, sorry, that produced 12 tons per hour in a packaging, undulated, waved carton industry, and it has a huge quote in Spain. So 1 out of 4 boxes were manufactured in this case that we're going to talk about. We are IMARTEC Energy, and we were born in 2010, and we have been 15 years doing the same. And is the promotion of the energy, mainly in the industrial sector, and we study the project and we do the engineering and the plant building and electrical and pipeline, vapor, all the parts we do that, and the technical service. And in December 1st in 2004, we integrated in Veolia in the expanding framework in water and energy. Based on this, we are going to talk about the details. Before we start talking about the project, I always say that there is no place called success, but the trail that is taking you there. So the feasibility of the biomass plant is based on those 3 pillars. Is of course this is complicated to condense this background in 5 minutes or in only 2 slides, but for us, we have 3 key points in order to have this project and avoiding to fail. And the input, the resource is very important. We are talking about forestry biomass, and when we compete with the natural gas that I'm sure is not going to fail. But in our case, we need to have a security stock and have agreements with forestry industries, and we have a ratio that things could get worse. Out of that, we're going to work with the chips with high humidity. And of course, another key is that the downloading part, because of the trucks and a lot of tons. But if we are able to achieve this, we were going to enjoy 25 euros per megawatt in the silo. So regarding the operation of the plant, so it's going to be like 3 megawatts that are going to be useful. But if the client has some kind of byproduct from the waste of the process that we can revalue, of course, we're going to use it. But first resource to the solution from a holistic point of view, it is important to have the space that we need a lot of space, because the size really matters, and it's going to be around 500 square meters of surface in order to install the boiler and the smoke treatment and the fuel container. We need a boiler, a very efficient boiler, in order to use the fuels and with a good geometry in the combustion chamber, with mobile parts, and also the feeding system, in order to collect the ashes and to have a logic technique in order to, for example, if a non-wished object gets inside the stove, then the boiler will not stop. So it's key to think about the solution in order to have availability to this 8,000 hours per year. And even if we have a great agreement with the suppliers and the best boiler of Europe, if we don't have anyone just driving this company, this sector, we are going to be lost. So as a energy services company, we had to transfer all our background and expertise to the plant worker in order to have a highly operational plant, efficient and secure and high efficient, by having the low risks. So for us, it's very important to have good working at the plant in order to make this project work. So let's continue with the details. This is a real project with 12 12 tons per hour in Fraga, Aragon. This factory, they work 24/7. When we were doing the landing with the client, they had two gas boilers of 10 tons of vapor. That one was working, and the other one was a backup boiler. We were taking all the consumptions, and we were talking about 12 tons per hour at 15 bar and 195 Celsius degrees. And all the industrial processes are around 35% HR, so relative humidity. But for biomass, even though the process is 24/7, they are not continuous, because that process could stop because the paper just breaks, or this process has to start at once, or we need some variability at industrial level to place ourselves in a strategic point of view, talking about pressure valve, thinking about if we don't have a demand of vapor, it can work in a safe way. So that's the challenge, to study how the biomass can match a process that could be this continuous process with some variability. Talking about benefits, of course, we have an economic benefit and also the environment benefit. Talking about the financial benefit, in this case, we had like 20,000 megawatts per hour demand, which is about 800 in gas. We were providing a lot of wood chips, like 3,500 tons, and the saving was a lot also. A huge saving, like 100,000 euros per year, and the return, the amortization is going to be also great. But talking about the environmental balance, talking about emissions, I think it's key in different trends and industrial processing, because we don't see it only from a financial point of view, but also about the emissions point of view, because it's very important in this equation. And this client was able to replace the natural gas forever. So it replaced the fossil fuel, and it started with decarbonization. This is 3,500 tons of CO2 that is going to be stopped being emission to the atmosphere. So decarbonization is also the same as competing. This competitiveness is lowering the cost, so we are being more competitive compared to other companies that have the same goals, but some international sectors can disestimate some projects if it's not across this kind of value chain, and also to be competitive in economical point of view, because if everything continues in the same way in 2027 with the new ETS, with the trade emissions, maybe CO2 will have an impact that maybe some sectors will not have, and it's going to give coverage to many sectors, and this cost is going to be part of the gas utility bill. So the carbonization is going to have a great impact, direct impact in the result quotes. Also, we have hectares managed with also green employment and etc. As a last detail, I would like to say that I want to talk about the trend of this project from a financial point of view, but lately, in the meetings, we are not only with the CEO of the company or the technical CEO, but also we have the manager there. So it's a great answer for the sector, and this is a more leverage for the new projects coming this year and next year. So after the roundtable, we'll have resolve all your doubts and questions. Thank you so much for your time.